So far this year, there's been a lot of ups and downs when it comes to the market, but really kind of more trending down because of all the chaos and all the confusion. Right now, the most recent set of chaos is all the different banks that are starting to go out of business and or getting bought out because they're going out of business. So what we're going to kind of get into is how the 2023 market crash can actually make you rich, because when you really have an idea of what your game plan is monetarily, economic winter or economic summer, if you're properly positioned, if it is the winter, you'll be able to get things on discount. And if it's the summer, that's when you'll be able to either leverage out even more, sell, take money off the table, and or continue to build based on your principles. So all the different indicators are starting to show that there could be a crash. And listen, we're not going to be here to predict what the market's going to do. So we're certainly not going to try and trade the market or buy Bitcoin or try and sell out our 401k to put something into some newfangled product or some kind of process that's never been introduced before. The truth is, if you have a map, a massive action plan with a game plan that is tied to your core values, what can happen is as you continue to stash cash and as you continue to build up that bucket, if there is a market crash, as the crash happens, whether it's in real estate, whether it's the stock market, whether it's Bitcoin or whatever the case may be, you will have opportunities to take advantage of it. But I always say this, it's real important to understand how to make sure your financial professionals are on the same page for your benefit when it comes to your thinking and how you position your dollars. Because if not, you could find yourself in a mindset of trying to catch up. So a lot of folks, they'll sit on the sidelines because they're nervous because a report came out that commercial real estate is going to suffer through a correction. So if somebody was going to buy something, if their feet aren't on the ground, they may not buy that piece of property because they're nervous. The truth is, if you buy something for overnight success, you're always going to suffer. If you look for instant gratification, you're always going to suffer. If you have a long-term view and if you use your money like stealth ninjas that are tied to an overall strategy, what'll happen is it's not so much the splash, but it's the ripple on how your money can continuously work for you and put you in a position to prosper. And that's where mindset is so important when it comes to money. It's not just about the rate of return. It's not just about the investment philosophy. It's not just about the deployment of capital. It's also about dealing with your wealth wounds, dealing with sudden wealth that comes out of nowhere that you may not be able to handle it. It's important you deal with your past issues. So as this money begins to come in or this wealth, you can handle it the right way and continue to stack and build. So the industries that, at least in my opinion, that would get hit or are going to get hit the hardest in case there is a crash, one would be the transportation industry. Listen, I travel a lot, and I remember a year ago, even 6 months ago, flights were a lot cheaper than they are today. Is that because of gas? Is that because of the economy? Is that because of the demand? I don't know, but it's not as easy to get on a flight, and we're paying prices that we haven't paid in a long time. And I mean, think of goods and services that use the railroads as well. If people are slowing down their spending because they've already got it out of their savings account, now they've tapped out their credit cards, then obviously that's going to be affected because the demand isn't the same. And now, as I understand it, because I don't really shop a lot online, so I've always liked to go into the store. But technology, from what I'm starting to hear more and more, because of COVID, because people want to get back to normal life, people are going back to stores again. So that is going to have an impact, technologically speaking, on technology when it comes to buying online. And all that is starting to take place as we, if you really take a step back and look at it on a daily basis, but go back 6 months, you could see that trend. And that means technology is going to suffer because of that. Not suffer, but take a step back, because right now people are going back out and really trying to enjoy their lives, which, by the way, they should. Now, for me, when it comes down to understanding money mindset, and it comes down to understanding the spiritual side of business, and understand that, hey, listen, overnight success could be poisonous if you're not careful. And if you're lucky enough to have overnight success, but have an abundant money mindset where there's no scarcity involved, that's a beautiful thing. Truth is, you want to put your money, at least in our opinion, first and foremost, inside of cash value life insurance strategies, as well as, even if it's going to be some sort of treasury bonds, so you have that liquidity, so it's there for you if in fact there is going to be a crash, or if the market does go down, that you can really take advantage of these opportunities that otherwise you wouldn't be able to take advantage if you weren't liquid. Now remember, whenever you buy something on deep discount, it's not sexy, at least from a standpoint of what everyone's telling you to do. As a matter of fact, they would say, don't do it, wait a little bit longer, typically. But you always want to know whatever you do, if it's for the long term and if it's the right strategy as far as your overall system of thinking when it comes to money. It doesn't guarantee that it's going to work, but your mindset ownership of it is very important, and it puts you in a different position to prosper. And for the folks out there that love the S&P fund, listen, I don't think that's a bad idea. I've always said, if you put money into an IRA, 401k, or even an after-tax account, the way it will work, and it's not a guarantee, but the way you could predict the future, two things. If those buckets are diversified within and amongst asset classes, right? Number one. Number two, if you do it on a yearly, quarterly, monthly basis consistently over a 5, 10, 15, 20-year period, you will put yourself in a position to win if you have that mindset. People get jammed up when they stop investing or they take the money out for other things, and all of a sudden they're then chasing a rate of return because they made irrational decisions or transactional minded decisions when it comes to their original strategy, which they walked away from because Mary around the corner just made so much money buying an ice cream parlor, or somebody was buying Bitcoin, that we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. You got to get to the point where you don't even know who the Joneses are. And once again, it comes down to understanding the economic cycle. Now, folks, I don't expect you to understand an economic cycle, but it's important to have these conversations with your financial advisor. It's important to understand overall what protection looks like. Protection would be, if I have an IRA, if I have 401k, if I have real estate, if I have Bitcoin, what other asset can I put in there for protection? Is it gold? Is it silver? Is it cash value life insurance? What does that look like in the overall financial mosaic? And by the way, the more liquid you are as things get on sale, right? You're now going to be buying straw hats in the winter. Everyone's running south, and you're like Bubba Gump that's getting all the shrimp because nobody's around, right? That's the key to this thing. And do the opposite of what everybody's doing if you've put yourself in a position to be liquid enough to take advantage of it, knowing that you have a long-term mindset. This is how we become rich during the 2023 market crash. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you start that thinking now, and if you do that for the next 5 years and you look back, you'll see that this was the secret to success. How to thrive in economic winter, how to win the game of money by having a money mindset first, getting over your wealth wounds, understanding that some of these things could be handed down, and you have to remove financial scarcity and replace it with financial or wealth abundance. And if you do that, good things will be able to happen, and you put yourself in a position to prosper. And listen, folks, if there's anything that you want to share with me as far as, hey, Rob, do this video, or Rob, can you tell us more about this? Those are good examples. Go ahead and click that link below. Of course, set up a time to speak to one of the folks here at Epic. They will, for free, take you through our success process, answer questions you have, and also show you our financial freedom map, which, by the way, it identifies not just where you want to go. Everyone has a destination, right? At least they think they do. But the biggest key to a destination is to know where you are today. So go ahead, click that link. Once again, if there's any questions or if any comments, do that below. We look forward to hearing from you in the future.